The education of a heathen continues. We are going to have the one and only Mr. Brian Adamson talk about the power of partnerships. And yes, we are going to key off of a Bible verse. Brian, I appreciate you enlightening me and the audience to the power in history inside the Bible. You want to talk about the power of partnerships? Take it away.
Yeah. So always, Mike, I love being here with you, bro. I appreciate, the constant invite back and all the ORAD family. Like, I love the feedback. I'm glad that this is resonating with a lot of you guys. For me, right, it's why reinvent the wheel? There were certain things that were left to us some 2,000 years ago on record. And if you adopt and apply these things to your life and to your business, just so happen that you have a lot of success in doing it. And so for me, it's just me now kind of letting people behind the curtain as to these principles that I've adopted that's worked for me. And then for many of you that's been applying them in your lives, even reading in the comments, Mike, like it's been working for a lot of other people too, apparently. So
no, I love it. I think these conversations, let me say this. I hope we have this conversation every week in 2025. I think the comments, the enlightenment, the discussion, I'm getting better, right? You're enlightening me to things that I've never seen, studied, or read. I think it's amazing what you're doing for me, for the audience. And I hope we do this every week for 52 weeks in a row.
Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that. So today I want to talk about the power of partnership, right? And the reason I want to bring this up is because I think we live in a society now where it's me, I.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. And there's a principle in the Bible that speaks directly to one can get 1,000, but two can put 10,000 to flight. Okay. So Deuteronomy 32:30 says, one man can get 1,000, but two can get 10,000. So the addition of partnership and collaboration is exponential growth. It's not even like double the output. It's 10x the output. And so just to bring you guys in on the conversation, when Mike and I were backstage, I told Mike, I said, I'm actually going to ask you something that I'm not even going to like tee it up. I just want to ask you openly while we're on the live stream. And so what the little bit that I think I know about you growing your YouTube channel was that you grew it by sheer will and might, right? Like initially it was putting out literally thousands of videos to grow your channel. Okay. Now I came in, I think maybe a year or two into when you started to interview, maybe a dozen of us on a weekly basis.
Yep.
And I don't know this to be true, right? This is why I wanted to ask you live. I could be dead wrong.
Oh, yeah.
But when you started to interview others and collaborate with others on your channel, did you find that the channel grew at a higher or at a faster rate than it did when you were only doing videos by yourself?
Yeah, there is no question. If you're going to be a content creator, in my opinion, and you think you're going to come into this as quote unquote a talking head, that's going to get very old, very monotonous, very boring, and you're going to give up. And I would have been in that camp. And I'm a guy who could do the boring stuff forever. Yeah, it wouldn't exist. Where the channel took off was right when I took on what I now refer to you as the millionaires, right? I interviewed 12, 13 millionaires every week. It took off when I interviewed Anna Kelly. And Anna Kelly was the first millionaire who said, I like our conversations. We're on different coasts. I will give you an hour a week. I didn't even know people would do that, right? I did not know Anna Kelly. I had no connection with her. I saw a Facebook post. I said, hey, let's do something. We talked. I said, hey, would you like to come back every week and do this? And she said yes. And she's been showing up for 5 years, right? And once she said yes, that led to me it led to me seeking and asking more people to be a part of this. And it may not be obvious to people, but I built a roster that is intentionally diverse, right? I didn't want a bunch of 50-year-old white guys, right? I wanted a diverse platform with diverse stories that do diverse things. Like, I have a Wall Street veteran. I have a stock trader. I have a small business guy. I have, house hackers. I have people that did Etsy stores. I have all of this was intentional. And that is what made the channel grow. That is what made it exponentially more fun and entertaining for me. Because let's be clear, I don't have to do this, but I love our conversations. I love being enlightened. I love what we're doing. I've already said that. I love all my conversations. And lastly, and most importantly, our community is growing and our impact is growing, not arithmetically, but it's scaling.
Yeah.
And it's so fun to show up and talk every week. So yeah, I mean, that verse is dead on. And I recommend anybody to do it this way. Just don't like, I do one talking head video a day. It's called the Daily Financial News. But other than that, I do almost nothing solo on purpose.
Yeah. So let's poke at that a little bit, Mike, because I think you and I probably are very similar in a lot of ways, and specifically in this one particular area. How difficult was it for you initially to start to reach out to people?
Simple. I shoot my shot. Probably my sales career, I'm used to being told no. It was extremely easy, right?
Okay.
I forgot how. I think you probably. I mean, most people I reached out to cold. Like, let me think about this. Of all the people that are on my channel, there are only two people. Like, I had one friend, Jason Pritchard. I would consider him a friend before the channel. Ty, I knew Ty, but I don't think we were friends yet. We are definitely friends now. And that was it. Everybody else was never heard of. Millennial Mike put a picture of, him on Facebook holding a key to his first rental. You probably put something on Instagram that inspired me. The other thing,
that's where we connected on Instagram.
Yeah. So it's either Facebook or Instagram or a referral. I've had a couple of referrals. The other thing that people should know is I give everybody one chance, but if I get the ick or I get the don't click, it has to feel good for me. I don't invite them back, right?
Yes.
My channel, my show, right?
Sorry, so when I said that you and I were a lot alike, this the part that I'm getting at, right? I was about 5-6 years ago when we had first started. Well, this was a little bit after we started our real estate education program. I used to do these we call them property field trips, right? So literally people would fly in from all over the world. We've had students as far as Denmark come in and meet us in a local market. We put them on a bus, we take them out, educate them for hours, take them back in the classroom, etc. And so at this time, there were a lot of people from a lot of different places that this was garnering the attention of many, right? And so people wanted to collaborate. And so one particular guy, I called myself vetting him. Everything was good. We were supposed to bring some of what his spiel was to what I was doing, and he was supposed to show up to one of these events, promoted it the whole nine. Like 30 minutes before he was supposed to be to the location, he flaked out, said he couldn't. Right. And so for me, I give everybody benefit of the doubt until you give me reason not to. Right.
Oh yeah.
That was it. Right. But not only that, if I got to be honest, it made me callous too, though. To where because I just don't do, me, Mike, like I just don't do that. You know what I mean? And so, and when it was done to me, it scarred me. And this whole social media space was so new to me back then as it was, like that just left a really bad taste in my mouth. And I necessarily didn't hold everybody like responsible for his behavior, but I will say that I know that it caused some timidity on my end to be so free with collaborating with others, right? And to your point, when you reached out, it just felt organic from day one, from the first time we ever talked. You know what I mean? And here we are some years later in result of that. And so I just say that to say, because I know while it could be very easy to do. It could be very easy not to do, because for many of us, if we are kind of silo oriented, we are used to doing our own thing. We are the one that moves the needle in our own camp more often than not. It could be very easy just not to collaborate with others for that very reason. But you're proof positive that even if you are a force by yourself, by opening that up and integrating others into what you're doing, like that principle, it just works.
No, I mean, I that verse is accurate. I mean, you can, and I have evidence. You can go back and look at my channel. I have all the videos there. I think the first, I don't know, certainly the first 500 were me struggling to find concepts and riff on. Because I've never edited videos, never. That's why these podcasts work for me, right? We get on. This is the format, folks. This is how it happens. I send Brian an invite usually 5 minutes before we start. He gets on 2 or 3 minutes after that. He and I talk for about 30 to 45 seconds, and I hit record. It's all organic. It's non-scripted.
Yeah.
And then I will find a point where it naturally ends. I will hang up and I will upload the video. That's the extent of the process. No flash, no editing, no upfront sizzle reel. Done.
Hey, so we really are that good. You know what I mean? What Mike won't say that I'll say is, yes, we really are just that good. Okay, because there's no preparation and no editing. No, it is, and I'm gonna tell you, it makes it funner, right?
Yes.
And I know that's not a word, but it makes it funner. It makes it more fun because you really don't know. I know I have no idea from week to week what me and Mike are gonna do, right?
Me neither.
Like short of me maybe having a Bible reference, right? That's all it is. It's just a scripture reference. The rest of it just happens through the flow of the conversation. Mike had no idea I was going to ask him this question today.
None.
But I knew it would be good for the audience to hear, because there's people on both sides, Mike. There's some that, would love to collaborate with others, but scared to reach out.
Yeah. So let's kind of close on that. Let's give some people action we can use. We're really close to 2025. So if you're into that New Year's resolution stuff, use this. I would recommend. It's actually funny. Hold on one second.
Mm-hmm.
So something I haven't talked about in a long time is I have these ORAT rules. I created this like 5 years ago. And number 3, grow your network. Meet 2 new people a week.
Mm.
Folks, I don't care what you want to do. You want to grow a YouTube channel, grow in real estate, get healthy, have a great relationship, faith in God, be believer, whatever you want to become better at. Meet 2 new people that are doing that thing. If you do that, you have 100 people by the end of the year. You can't help but be better at whatever you want with 100 people doing that.
For sure. And to your point, like practically speaking, I think you got to first get clear on what's your non-negotiables.
Yes.
Right. Like what are your non-negotiables? What, I guess in technical terms, what are your core values? What are these things that you're unwilling to waver on as it pertains to being in relationship and proximity with people? Mm-hmm. Because while people say that it's not personal, it's just business. No, business is very personal.
Yes.
Like let's just kill all of that noise. Business is very personal. And so you need to make sure you're doing it with the right people, because how you do anything is how you do everything. What you see on the onset, if there's, low integrity and not morally aligned and all the rest of it, that's going to show up in your business. Okay. So figure out what the non-negotiables are. And then to Mike's point, trial and error, start just meeting more people and understand who's a part of that tribe. Once you understand that who's a part of that tribe, now you can understand, is there a mutual interest after we get past the moral and ethical piece of alignment, right? Do we now share a mutual interest? And then also, do you complement each other well?
Yeah.
So those would be my 3.
No, I love all of that. I think let's just talk about, because I get a lot of people asking me how to grow on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So let's just pretend for a minute you like Pokemon cards, right? Something just out there, which, oh, by the way, I know nothing about Pokemon cards. What I would be doing is I would be going through social media feeds for other people who are talking about Pokemon cards. Now, I wouldn't go for the folks with 1 million subscribers and, the big names. But, go find somebody with 5,000, 10,000, and just send them a cold DM. That's what I did with Brian. I was like, hey, I like what you're saying here. What probably happened, I don't remember it, but you sent something out that I thought was like beautifully written. And I said something like, Brian, I want you to share this idea with my audience.
Yeah.
That's usually how it happens.
Yeah.
And then if that conversation goes well, it's like, hey, would you like to come back and do this every week? That was the extent of my vetting process.
For sure.
Now, some people don't get the invite back because, hey, you had one brilliant idea that your VA wrote in the Philippines. It's not even your idea, and I can tell, right? Just stop the madness. You're not that eloquent. You don't come back. It's really simple. I got you on that one.
Because in my mind, I see everything in pictures. So I'm picturing from week to week. They're like, wait a minute, let me get back to my script here.
Exactly. What
like,
is they right?
This format don't work. You know what I mean? It just won't work like that. That's hilarious, man.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Again, but that's
the key is collaboration. You probably should see this in all walks of your life. You might be able to go fast solo, but you won't go far. If you want to make meaningful impact, meaningful change, find the right partners.
Yeah, no, that's really good, Mike. And even, obviously a big segment of the viewers are going to be real estate related. Like you're going to need partners eventually. You know what I mean? At some point, you're going to need partners. And even if you're going slow, there's just going to come a point in time where you're going to be cash strapped and you're probably going to have to bring in some private capital. And so just start getting to know people and vet them, because all money ain't good money. Just because they're willing to stroke you a check, they could become your biggest nightmare. Some people give you money and think they own you, and those are not the type of partners that you want. So them having the money is not the qualifier. Just so everybody that's listening to this, if you're out there in real estate world, you're looking for private money, them having the money is not the qualifier. Who they are as a person still needs to be taken into consideration, in my opinion, before you take money from folks.
Well, one thing I want to really highlight here is you have an amazing podcast yourself. We actually had some questions about that in the comments last week. So tell us what it is, where it is, what's it all about?
Yeah. So we, accountability, right? We started this thing. We said we were going to do it 3 months ago, and 6 weeks ago, we finally launched it. It's called Believers in Business Podcast. It's actually Believers, the letter N, B-I-Z. Okay. But it's Believers in Business. The essence behind it, Mike, was to help people live a level 10 life. So a lot of my closest friends, you included, will compliment me on trying to have a level 10 in every area of my life that's important, in my faith, in my fitness, in my finances, in my family life, and my freedom. And then so most people are plateauing at like a 3 or 4. They're just kind of existing, right? Yeah. And so the whole essence of the community is to help people, business owners and aspiring business owners, live a level 10 in every area of their life. And that don't mean that you're hitting a level 10 in all of them at all times, but there's a way to at least strive to hit that at all times, right? And if you're shooting for 10 and you end up at a 7 or 8, you're still living better than 90% of the population out there. And it's a constant challenge. It's a daily challenge. Many people, business owners, think that once they make their first $1 million, that's going to be it. I was one that got there and was devastated and depressed because I realized that the money wasn't the answer. I thought it was, but I to only get there and figured out that it wasn't. So, if your health is compromised, the wealth ain't important. If your marriage is compromised, the wealth ain't important. If your family life is compromised, the wealth ain't important. So unless you have all of these areas of your life, your faith, your fitness, your finance, your freedom, and your family firing on all cylinders, then in my opinion, you don't get the teamings of what success truly is. So that's all. The Believers in Business podcast is to highlight these different things that you can do on a day in and day out basis to help you to reach a level 10 in your life.
Love that, folks. And where can they find it? Is it on Spotify and
it's on all platforms, Spotify, Apple, and then I think we drop the videos twice a week on my YouTube channel.
Very, very cool. And of course, you can find him on Instagram, where I found him for the first time, Brian Adamson Official. Brian, you're amazing. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Same
All
to
of
you.
that good stuff.
Same to you, my brother. Appreciate you.
You got it.